You think the universe is stable because it has never failed you. But science says that safety is not guaranteed, it's temporary. And one day, without warning, reality itself could simply stop working. You trust the world because it behaves the same way every day. The ground does not disappear when you step on it. The sun rises on time. Your body follows rules you don't have to think about. This reliability feels natural, almost permanent. And because of it, you believe tomorrow will exist. This belief is what allows you to plan, to build, to sleep peacefully at night. But here is the uncomfortable truth. This feeling of safety is not proof that reality is stable. It is only proof that reality has not failed yet. We confuse consistency with certainty, even though science has never promised either. From childhood, you are taught that the universe is governed by fixed laws. Gravity always pulls downward. Light always moves at the same speed. Atoms always hold together. These rules feel like unbreakable contracts written into existence itself. But physics does not describe guarantees. It describes patterns. Patterns that work until they don't. The equations that define reality are not carved into stone. They are balanced like a stack of glass plates. Stable for now, but sensitive to change. When scientists study the universe deeply, they don't see a solid foundation beneath everything. They see fragile arrangements of energy. They see forces that depend on precise values. Constants tuned so perfectly that even a small shift would erase stars, atoms, and life itself. The universe is not built like a fortress. It is balanced like a tightrope, and we are standing on it without a safety net. What makes this disturbing is not that disaster could happen. It is that disaster does not need a cause we can see. No asteroid, no explosion, no warning. The laws you trust could change simply because the deeper structure of reality allows it. The universe does not need to attack us. It only needs to stop holding itself together in the way it currently does. The stability you experience is not evidence of permanence. It is a temporary condition. Like calm weather before a storm you don't know exists. Physics suggests that reality itself may be in a waiting state. Not finished, not final, just lasting long enough for observers like us to believe it is safe. And once you understand that, comfort becomes an illusion you can never fully return to. This is not fear meant to shock you. It is perspective meant to unsettle you. Because the most dangerous assumption humans make is that what has always worked will always continue to work. The universe has no obligation to remain familiar. And the moment you accept that, the ground beneath your feet stops feeling solid, not because it changed, but because you finally saw it clearly. What you experience is not reality itself. It is a simplified version designed for survival. Your senses were never meant to show you the truth of the universe. They were meant to keep you alive long enough to reproduce. You see solid objects, clear space, and steady time because that version of reality is useful, not because it is accurate. Physics calls this difference the map and the territory. Your perception is the map. Reality is the territory, and the two are not the same. At the surface level, the world looks calm and ordered. Tables feel solid. Walls don't flicker in and out of existence. Time flows forward at a steady pace. But when science looks beneath this interface, the picture collapses. At the deepest level, there are no solid objects. Atoms are mostly empty space. Particles appear from nothing and vanish again. Cause and effect blur, space bends, time stretches and compresses. The universe underneath your perception is not stable. It is active, restless, and strange. We like to believe this chaos is contained, that it stays locked inside atoms, safely separated from our daily lives. We tell ourselves that the small world is weird, but the big world is safe. Yet physics never draws that boundary. There is no rule that says instability must stay microscopic. The same laws govern everything from quarks to galaxies. The calm surface you experience may simply be an average, a smoothing over of deeper turbulence. Think of it like standing on a frozen lake. From above, the ice looks solid and trustworthy. You can walk, build, even sleep on it. But beneath the surface, water is moving, shifting, pressing against the ice. The stability you feel does not come from stillness. It comes from balance, and balance can break. The most unsettling part is this: if reality itself is unstable underneath, you would not be able to perceive the warning signs. Your senses are not built to detect foundational failure. They only react once it is too late. If the rules that hold matter together begin to change, there may be no sound, no light, no signal your brain can interpret. So when you trust what you see and feel, you are trusting a filtered story, not the full truth. The universe you experience is not raw reality. It is a user-friendly version. And if the underlying system shifts, the interface will not protect you. It will simply disappear along with everything else. The universe survives because its numbers behave. Forces have exact strengths. Particles have precise masses. The balance is so delicate that even a tiny change would erase everything familiar. We usually treat these numbers as permanent, like rules written into existence itself. But physics does not call them rules. It calls them constants. And constants are only constant until they aren't. Imagine changing the strength of electromagnetism by just 1%. Atoms would no longer hold together. Chemistry would fail instantly. Your body would not burn or explode. It would simply stop being matter in any recognizable way. Or imagine gravity becoming slightly stronger. Stars would collapse faster, burn out sooner, or never form at all. Planets would be crushed under their own weight. Life would never get a chance to exist. What makes this terrifying is not how fragile life is, but how precise reality must be to allow it. The universe is not built to support life. Life exists because the settings happen to fall within an extremely narrow range. This is not stability. This is fine-tuning balanced on a razor's edge. Modern physics suggests these constants may not be fixed values carved into the universe forever. They may emerge from deeper fields, deeper structures that can evolve, shift, or decay. If that is true, then the laws of nature are not guarantees. They are temporary outcomes of a deeper process we barely understand. We live as if the universe has locked in its settings and thrown away the key. But there is no evidence that such a lock exists. The dials of reality may still be turning, just slowly enough that we don't notice. And slow change is the most dangerous kind, because it feels like permanence right up until the moment it isn't. The unsettling conclusion is this: existence does not need a catastrophe to end. It does not need fire, impact, or collapse. All it needs is a small adjustment, a quiet shift in the background values of reality. No warning, no resistance. Just a universe that stops being compatible with matter, chemistry, and life. We are not protected by the size of the cosmos or the age of time. We are protected only by the fact that the numbers have stayed where they are so far. And so far is not a promise. We assume the universe is resting in its safest possible state, like a ball settled at the bottom of a valley. Once it reaches the lowest point, it stays there forever. That idea feels comforting. It suggests that reality has finished falling, that the structure of existence is complete. But modern physics offers a far more disturbing possibility. What if the universe is not at the bottom at all? What if it is only stuck on a ledge, stable for now, but not truly safe? This idea is called the false vacuum. It comes directly from calculations involving the Higgs field, the invisible field that fills all of space and gives particles their mass. Every atom, every object, every part of your body depends on this field, behaving in a very specific way. If the Higgs field is stable, then the universe is stable. But when physicists run the numbers using what we know about particle masses, the result is unsettling. The equations suggest that the Higgs field may be in a metastable state, not the lowest energy state possible, just a temporary one. Think of a ball resting in a small dip on the side of a hill. From where it sits, everything feels stable. It has been there for billions of years. Nothing seems wrong, but just beyond the edge of that dip is a much deeper valley. Nature always prefers the lowest energy state. The ball wants to fall further. The only reason it hasn't is because it hasn't been pushed yet. In classical physics, this would be reassuring. If nothing pushes the ball, it stays where it is. But the universe does not follow classical rules at its deepest level. In quantum mechanics, barriers do not need to be climbed. They can be passed through. This process is called tunneling. It allows systems to move into lower energy states without warning, without force, and without a trigger. You can see if the Higgs field tunnels into a lower energy state at even a single point in space, everything changes. That point becomes the seed of a new kind of universe. A bubble forms where the laws of physics are different. And because this new state is more stable, the bubble expands. This is where the fear becomes real. The bubble does not move slowly. It expands at the speed of light. That means there is no warning. No signal can reach you before it does. One moment, the universe behaves normally. The next moment, the rules that make atoms possible no longer exist where you are standing. The false vacuum is terrifying because it means reality may not be finished settling. The universe you know could be temporary, not because it is young, but because it is waiting to fall. If a false vacuum collapse happens, it will not look like a disaster. There will be no explosion, no flash in the sky, no moment of fear. That is what makes it so terrifying. The event does not destroy the universe the way a bomb destroys a city. It replaces the rules the universe follows, and it does so at the fastest speed anything can move. When the transition begins, a tiny bubble of true vacuum forms somewhere in space. Inside that bubble, the Higgs field has settled into a lower energy state. The problem is that this new state is more stable than the one we live in now. Nature always favors stability. Because of that, the bubble does not stay small. It expands outward in every direction at the speed of light. This detail removes every possibility of escape. Light is how information travels. If something moves at the speed of light, you cannot know it is coming before it arrives. There is no warning, no time to react, no final thought. One moment you are alive, thinking, breathing, existing. The next moment the conditions that allow existence simply stop applying to you. Inside the bubble, physics no longer works the way it does here. The masses of particles change. The forces that hold atoms together either weaken, strengthen, or disappear entirely. Chemistry collapses instantly. Atoms cannot form. Protons may decay. The structures that make cells, molecules, and matter possible dissolve before they can even register the change. This is not death in any biological sense. Biology assumes chemistry. Chemistry assumes stable atoms. Vacuum decay removes the foundation beneath both. Your body does not fail. Reality fails first. Consciousness does not fade. It is erased because the physical process that allows a brain to exist is no longer permitted. The bubble does not stop at planets or stars. It continues expanding, consuming galaxies, rewriting the universe into a form that may be perfectly stable, but completely empty of life. No memory of what came before survives, because memory itself requires the laws that were just replaced. The most unsettling part is not that this could happen. It is that if it does, it will have always been unavoidable. No technology can prevent it. No civilization can outgrow it. The universe would not end in chaos. It would end in silence, moving at the speed of light. Once you understand vacuum decay, the idea of cosmic safety disappears. The universe no longer feels ancient and reliable. It feels temporary. Not because it is young, but because it may be unfinished. Physicists can calculate probabilities, but probability is not protection. A small chance, repeated across infinite space and deep time, is not comforting. It is inevitable. Some scientists argue that the decay rate is unimaginably slow, far longer than the current age of the universe. Others point out that we only know a small part of the full picture. There may be unknown particles or forces that stabilize everything, or there may be triggers we have not identified yet. High-energy events, extreme cosmic collisions, or processes from the early universe could all play a role. The problem is not that answers are missing. The problem is that uncertainty exists at all. What makes vacuum decay uniquely disturbing is that it does not care about progress, intelligence, or survival strategies. It does not target life. It targets structure. No amount of technology, cooperation, or foresight can defend against it. You cannot build a shield against a change in the rules of reality itself. If the foundation shifts, everything above it goes with it. There is also a more unsettling possibility. The decay may have already started somewhere far away. Because the bubble expands at the speed of light, we would have no way of detecting it until it reaches us. A bubble could be 1 billion light years away, and we would be completely unaware. Or it could be just beyond our cosmic horizon, minutes from arrival. The universe does not send notifications. This means our present moment may already be borrowed time. Not in a dramatic sense, but in a quiet one. Every ordinary action you take exists under the assumption that the laws of physics will continue behaving tomorrow the way they did today. Vacuum decay challenges that assumption at its core. And yet, life continues. We wake up, work, build, plan, and dream, not because we are safe, but because we are blind to the risks that operate at the deepest level of existence. Stability feels real because it has lasted long enough for us to evolve inside it. The lesson is not panic, it is humility. The universe does not promise continuity. It merely allows it for now, and that thin allowance is all that separates a living cosmos from one that never existed at all. If space itself can fail, it is natural to assume that matter must be more reliable. After all, we have studied atoms for over a century. We split them, rearrange them, build entire civilizations out of their predictable behavior. Protons and neutrons feel permanent. They feel final. But physics again offers a disturbing alternative. What if the matter you are made of is not the most stable form matter can take? In nature, there is a simple and brutal rule. Unstable things transform into stable ones. Radioactive elements decay until they reach something that lasts longer. Energy always flows toward the lowest possible state. Stability is not a choice. It is a destination. And if there exists a form of matter more stable than the one that makes up your body, then everything around you is only temporary. To understand this, physicists look at neutron stars. These are the crushed remains of massive stars, where gravity is so intense that atoms are destroyed. Protons and electrons merge. Matter is compressed beyond anything we can recreate on Earth. Inside these objects, the familiar structure of matter breaks down into something deeper. Quarks, the particles inside protons and neutrons, are forced into new arrangements. Under these extreme conditions, some quarks may change their identity. Alongside up and down quarks, a third type appears, strange quarks. When enough of them combine, they may form strange matter, a state that could be more stable than ordinary nuclear matter. If this theory is correct, then what we call normal matter is not the final product of physics. It is a metastable phase, just like the false vacuum. This idea is unsettling because it redefines what solid means. Your body, the Earth, the stars, all of it may exist in a higher energy, less stable configuration. We persist not because we are optimal, but because we have not yet encountered something better. Strange matter is not dangerous because it is violent. It is dangerous because it is efficient. If it truly represents a lower energy state, then nature will favor it. Regular matter would not resist transformation. It would surrender at the most fundamental level, rearranging its internal structure to match the more stable form. This shifts the threat from explosions and impacts to something far worse: conversion, no warning, no force. Just a quiet rewrite of what matter prefers to be. The question is no longer whether the universe can destroy us. The question becomes whether we are living in a temporary version of matter itself, waiting to be replaced by something more stable the moment it finds us. If strange matter is truly more stable than ordinary matter, then it does not need to be large to be dangerous. It only needs to exist. A tiny fragment of strange matter called a strange lay would be enough to change everything. This is where the theory stops being abstract and starts becoming nightmarish. A strange lay would not behave like any substance you know. It would ignore chemistry completely. It would not care about temperature, pressure, or chemical bonds. Instead, it would interact directly with the nuclei of atoms. The moment a normal atom touches a strangulate, its protons and neutrons would be rearranged at the quark level, turning them into strange matter. The atom would not explode, it would be converted. Each conversion would release energy, but more importantly, the strangelet would grow. With every atom it consumes, it gains mass and surface area, allowing it to touch and convert even more atoms. This creates a runaway process. Not a chain reaction like fire, but a chain reaction of transformation. Matter does not burn. It switches states. Now imagine a strangelet arriving on Earth. It could be microscopic, smaller than a grain of dust. Because of its extreme density, it would pass straight through the atmosphere and crust, barely slowed. As it falls toward the center of the planet, it would brush against atoms along its path. Each contact converts more matter. Each conversion makes it larger and faster. At the core of the Earth, gravity would trap it. And there, surrounded by unimaginable pressure, the conversion would accelerate. The core would become strange matter, then the mantle, then the crust. The planet would not shatter. It would collapse inward as its structure is rewritten. Within hours, Earth would no longer be a living world. It would be a dense, inert sphere of strange matter, far smaller than before, glowing faintly with residual heat. No oceans, no atmosphere, no history. Just perfect stability. This is not destruction in the way we imagine disasters. It is replacement. The universe choosing a more stable configuration and discarding the old one without emotion or intent. The terror of strangelets is not that they are likely. It is that if they exist at all, survival becomes a matter of never encountering one ever, and in a universe filled with neutron stars and extreme events. That is not a comforting requirement. After hearing about strangelets, the obvious question is why nothing like this has happened yet. The Earth is still here. The Moon still exists. Stars have not collapsed into strange matter spheres. This apparent safety is the main reason many physicists believe strangelets are either impossible or unstable. And there is a strong argument behind that belief. Cosmic rays constantly strike. Planets with energies far greater than anything humans can produce. These collisions happen naturally, uncontrollably, and have been happening for billions of years. If strangelets could easily form and survive, then the Moon should have been converted long ago. So should asteroids, planets, and stars. The fact that the universe still looks normal is powerful. Evidence that something prevents this nightmare scenario. But notice the word being used, evidence, not proof. Cosmic ray collisions are chaotic. They are messy, random, and brief. The environments they create may not allow strange matter to stabilize. Human-made experiments, however, are different. When we collide heavy ions in particle accelerators, we do so in controlled conditions, carefully tuned energies, and dense interactions. For a brief moment, we recreate states of matter similar to those found in neutron stars or the early universe. This is why, before machines like RHIC and the LHC were turned on, safety reports were written. Physicists took the strangelet scenario seriously enough to investigate it. The conclusion was that the risk was negligible. But negligible is a mathematical word, not a comforting one. It does not mean impossible. It means very unlikely per event. Here is the uncomfortable logic. If an action carries a tiny risk, and you repeat it enough times, the probability of failure approaches certainty. Particle accelerators run continuously. The universe runs collisions endlessly. Time does not reduce risk. It accumulates it. Most scientists believe we are safe, and they are probably right. But the existence of serious safety discussions reveals something deeper. Our confidence in the permanence of matter is not absolute. It is provisional, based on current understanding, not final truth. So our survival does not necessarily prove that strangelets are impossible. It may only prove that we have been lucky so far. And luck is not a law of physics. Let's assume for a moment that the universe is stable, that strangelets do not exist, that the vacuum is safe, that the floor beneath our feet is solid, and the matter around us is reliable. Even then, a new kind of unease emerges when we look up at the night sky. Because if the universe allows life and civilization, then where is everyone else? This is the essence of the Fermi paradox. The Milky Way alone contains hundreds of billions of stars. The observable universe contains trillions of galaxies. Even if life is extremely rare, statistics suggest we should see signs of other civilizations. Radio signals, megastructures, or interstellar travel, yet the silence is complete. We hear only the hiss of background radiation. The cosmos seems empty. For decades, humanity hoped that this silence was temporary, that intelligent life was simply polite, shy, or slow to reach out. Optimists imagined a galaxy teeming with civilizations who were quietly waiting for others to grow up. But as our surveys deepen, the silence grows more significant. It is no longer a lack of evidence. It is evidence itself, a suggestion that life, once it emerges, rarely survives long enough to leave a detectable trace. This brings us to the Great Filter, a theory proposed to explain this cosmic quiet. Life does not simply appear and flourish. The path from inanimate matter to a civilization capable of colonizing the stars is riddled with improbable steps. Each stage forming a reproductive molecule, developing complex cells, evolving intelligence. Mastering technology is difficult. Somewhere along this path, there is a step almost no species survives. That step is the Great Filter. Here is the unsettling ambiguity. We do not know where the filter lies. If it is behind us, then life is incredibly rare, and we are the lucky few. That is comforting, perhaps even empowering. But if the filter is ahead, then the terrifying truth is that almost all civilizations that reach our level of development will fail before they can spread into the stars. The silence we see in the galaxy may be a warning. The barrier is not behind us. It is coming. And every new discovery of life in the universe makes the threat more real. If Mars, Europa, or exoplanets host even simple life, it proves that life is common. And if life is common but civilizations remain absent, the filter must lie in the future. Humanity may not be special. We may simply be next in line to meet a fate that has claimed countless others before us. The stars above may not be inspiring. They may be silent because they are watching, or because they are empty. Either way, the universe is no longer a comforting expanse. It is a warning. If the Great Filter lies ahead, then the silence of the cosmos is not just unsettling, it is purposeful. It may be hiding something far darker than empty space, active threats that prevent civilizations from surviving long enough to communicate. This is where the dark forest theory comes into play, a concept drawn from game theory and sharpened by the logic of survival. Imagine the galaxy as a vast, uncharted forest. Every civilization is a hunter, and every other civilization is a potential predator. Survival is the only rule. Resources are finite, and the growth of one civilization can threaten another, even unintentionally. In this forest, the safest strategy is absolute secrecy. Make no noise, reveal no location, trust nothing. Any signal you send could be interpreted as a threat, and the consequences could be immediate and permanent. The dark forest is the cosmic equivalent of the prisoner's dilemma on a galactic scale. Communication is delayed by years, centuries, or millennia. You cannot know whether another civilization is peaceful or aggressive. You cannot know if they will evolve technologically in ways that outpace you. Waiting to see intentions is a luxury you cannot afford when survival is on the line. The logic is brutal but simple. The first civilization to detect another has a choice. They can make themselves known, hoping for cooperation, or they can act first to eliminate potential threats. In this scenario, preemptive destruction becomes rational. It is not evil in the human sense. It is efficiency. It is survival. The galaxy, then, is quiet not because intelligent life is rare, but because intelligent life is smart enough to remain silent or extinct before it can broadcast. This theory reframes the silence of space as a strategy, not an accident. The emptiness of the stars may be evidence of civilizations practicing extreme caution, hiding to survive, or it may be proof that civilizations rarely survive long enough to communicate at all. Either way, the night sky is no longer a panorama of possibility. It is a warning. If the dark forest is real, then curiosity itself becomes dangerous. Every probe, every signal, every attempt to reach beyond our solar system could be broadcasting our presence. We may already be observed, already catalogued as a potential threat by civilizations that have learned that silence is survival. The galaxy is not a playground. It is a jungle. And in this jungle, the first mistake can be fatal. Understanding this shifts perspective. The universe is no longer a silent friend. It's a forest full of predators, and we are just one small, visible spark of life trying to survive unnoticed. If the dark forest logic is correct, then the most dangerous thing a civilization can do is announce that it exists. From this perspective, humanity's curiosity stops looking innocent. Our radio signals have been leaking into space for more than a century. Every broadcast, every radar ping, every message aimed at the stars is like lighting a fire in the middle of a dark forest and hoping nothing sees the glow. We often assume that advanced civilizations would be peaceful, wise or morally evolved, but the universe does not reward morality. It rewards survival. Intelligence does not guarantee kindness. It only guarantees efficiency. A civilization does not need to be evil to destroy another. It only needs to be cautious. If eliminating a potential future threat increases survival odds, then destruction becomes a rational act, not an emotional one. The terrifying part is that you would never know you were targeted. Any civilization capable of interstellar action would be operating on timescales and energy, levels far beyond our understanding. The strike would not look like an invasion. There would be no ships in the sky, no warning. Just sudden extinction through means we might never comprehend. From our point of view, it would look like a natural disaster, or worse, a mystery with no explanation. This possibility turns the search for extraterrestrial intelligence upside down. SETI assumes that others want to talk. The dark forest assumes that the smartest ones stay quiet. The civilizations we detect, if any, may not be the advanced ones. They may be the careless ones, the ones that made noise and didn't survive long enough to learn silence. This also reframes our own future. As our technology improves, we become more visible. Our energy use increases. Our signals grow stronger. Our experiments more extreme. We are not just advancing. We are advertising. And if the universe truly operates under dark forest rules, then growth itself becomes a liability. The most disturbing conclusion is not that someone is coming for us. It is that no one needs to come. The rules alone are enough. In a universe where uncertainty and survival dominate, silence is not loneliness. It is wisdom earned through extinction. So when you look up at the stars and feel inspired, remember this possibility. The quiet sky may not be empty. It may be holding its breath. And in a universe like that, the greatest threat to humanity may not be an alien civilization, but our own desire to be seen. Even if the dark forest is real, the mind itself may be a trap just as dangerous as any cosmic predator. We like to believe we perceive reality clearly, that our senses and thoughts give us accurate access to the world. But modern physics and philosophy suggest otherwise. What if your perception of reality is not reality at all? What if it is merely an interface designed to keep you alive while hiding the universe's true form? This is the essence of interface theory. Your senses show you a simplified version of the world, a map that is useful but not accurate. Tables feel solid, time seems continuous, objects appear distinct, and cause and effect seem reliable. But these are only convenient illusions. At the fundamental level, the universe is chaotic. Particles appear and vanish. Forces fluctuate, space and time warp. Complexity arises not from order, but from layers of filtered perception. The problem is subtle but profound. You believe that the universe is stable because your interface never shows instability. You trust it because it has never betrayed you, but your perception does not detect quantum tunneling, vacuum decay, or strangelets. It cannot. What you see is a version of reality optimized for survival, not truth. The universe itself may be far stranger, far more fragile, and far more dangerous than your senses can reveal. This theory leads naturally to superdeterminism, a concept even more unsettling. If every event in the universe, including your thoughts and actions, follows a predetermined chain, then free will may be an illusion. Your choices may feel like creativity, rebellion, or strategy, but they may be no more than the unfolding of a pre-written program. The universe may not just be fragile, it may already be set in motion, and your life may be nothing more than a node in an inevitable sequence. The combination of interface, theory, and superdeterminism turns consciousness into a paradox. You think you are observing the universe, but what if you are simply a component of the system, processing information in a way that hides the fragility of the universe from yourself? You do not perceive danger because the interface filters it out. You cannot change outcomes because the system already knows what you will do. At this level, existential dread is not about external threats. It is about the realization that the mind itself may be a cage, that certainty, choice, and perception are illusions. You live, think, and plan in a bubble of comfort, carefully constructed by reality to protect itself, and you may never see the cracks until it is too late. If your perception is an interface and your choices are not truly free, then the idea of control collapses completely. You are no longer an explorer of reality. You are a participant in a system that already knows the outcome. This is where the observer problem becomes deeply unsettling. In physics, observation is not passive. The act of observing is tied to how reality behaves. But what if observation does not create outcomes, and instead, outcomes determine observation? This is the heart of superdeterminism. It suggests that every measurement, every experiment, and every decision was fixed from the very beginning of the universe. Not just matter and energy, but thoughts, questions, and doubts. When you believe you are choosing, you are simply experiencing the system unfolding exactly as it must. The feeling of choice is real, but the freedom behind it may not be. This idea removes one of humanity's last comforts. Even in a dangerous universe, we like to believe that intelligence and strategy give us power. But if the path is already written, then knowledge does not grant escape. It only reveals the shape of the cage. You are not steering the future. You are moving along it. What makes this disturbing is how perfectly it fits with physics. Quantum experiments already show correlations that seem impossible, without hidden coordination. Superdeterminism explains them by saying there is no randomness at all. The universe is a closed loop, self-consistent, with no room for deviation. Even your attempt to test this theory would be part of the predetermined script. At this point, the question changes. It is no longer what will happen, but could anything have happened differently? And the answer may be no. Every civilization that rose and fell, every extinction, every discovery, every failure, followed a path that could not bend. If this is true, then fear itself is not a response to danger. It is just another line in the code. You are not reacting to the universe. You are executing it. And the most unsettling realization is this: understanding that you are trapped does not free you. It simply makes the walls visible. Once free will begins to dissolve, even death stops feeling simple. We usually think of death as an ending, a clean cutoff where experience stops. But some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest something far more disturbing. They propose that from your own point of view, death may never arrive at all. This idea is known as quantum immortality. It comes from the many worlds interpretation, where every possible outcome of an event actually happens in separate branches of reality. In most of those branches, you die as expected, but in a tiny fraction against all odds, you survive. And here is the trap. You can only experience the branches where you are still conscious. From the outside, this looks normal. People age, they die. Accidents are fatal. But from the inside, awareness never reaches the moment of death. It simply continues in increasingly unlikely timelines. Every near miss, every impossible survival becomes your new reality. You don't feel immortal. You feel increasingly unlucky. Over time, the world around you would start to break down. Survival would require stranger and stranger coincidences. Injuries that should kill you somehow don't. Diseases. Progress in ways that make no sense. The universe begins to feel hostile, irrational, and cruel, not because it wants to punish you, but because you are trapped in the rare branches where you continue to exist. The horror of quantum immortality is not eternal youth or invincibility. It is prolonged awareness, consciousness dragged through deteriorating conditions, while probability collapses around it. Pain does not end, it concentrates. Death, which we fear, may actually be the escape that most versions of you receive. But the version reading this may be the one that never does. Awareness could be the prison, not the gift. If this theory is even partly true, then the universe does not guarantee rest. It guarantees continuity, and continuity without control is not life. It's a trap that tightens with every improbable survival. If quantum immortality is true, then the final layer of the spiral is the mind, itself facing eternity in a universe it cannot comprehend. Every horror we have explored, vacuum decay, strange light, the great filter, the dark forest and superdeterminism leads here, the realization that existence itself may offer no refuge. The laws of nature may change, matter may convert, civilizations may vanish, and your perception may be an illusion. Yet consciousness persists. Imagine awareness stretching endlessly, trapped in improbable timelines where survival continues but safety never returns. Every day would feel like balancing on the edge of a knife, watching reality fluctuate around you while you remain anchored in the improbable. The universe may be incomprehensible, unstable and hostile, but your mind keeps experiencing it. There is no reboot, no final pause, just continuous observation, endless adaptation, and eternal uncertainty. This is the deepest existential terror, that the universe may not only be fragile and dangerous, but that you might witness it all without end. The universe does not owe you comfort, understanding, or stability. It only exists, and you exist within it, subject to all the fragility, randomness, and horror that come with it. Every atom, every law, every civilization, every possible future may conspire to collapse, yet consciousness persists. Yet there is a strange clarity in this final revelation. To confront the universe in its full fragility is to see the truth beneath the comforting illusions. The solidity beneath your feet, the reliability of matter, the silence of the stars. The choices you believe are yours, all are temporary layers. Peeling them away leaves the raw territory of existence, uncertain, vast, and indifferent. The spiral ends not with answers, but with awareness. Awareness that the universe is a fragile, precarious construction, that survival is statistical luck, and that even your own mind may be both prison and witness. The world may look the same, but nothing will ever feel as secure again. Reality, once a fortress, now feels like a glass house, trembling with every possibility that exists beyond your perception. And in that trembling, you finally understand, existence itself is both the question and the answer, the threat and the witness, the cage and the key. If the spiral of existential dread seems complete, pause for a moment and consider the implications of scale. So far, we have explored threats from the subatomic to the cosmic, from the mind to the very structure of existence itself. Yet even this perspective may be limited. The universe is unimaginably vast, and our understanding is confined to a tiny corner of it. What we see, measure, and theorize may be only the tip of an iceberg of unknown realities. Cosmology has shown us that the universe is expanding, accelerating, and filled with dark energy, something we barely understand. The majority of reality is invisible to us. Galaxies drift apart, matter is swamped by darkness, and forces operate on scales beyond human intuition. Even if the physical universe is temporarily stable, we occupy a minuscule island of comprehension, surrounded by unknowable forces. The threat is not just sudden collapse but persistent ignorance. We may never see what is coming because the universe is too large, too fast, and too strange for our senses to track. This awareness forces a shift in perspective. It is not just about personal survival or the survival of our planet. The cosmos does not operate on human timescales or concerns. Stars live and die over billions of years. Civilizations rise and vanish before we can detect them. Even the physical laws we rely upon are the result of cosmic happenstance. To grasp this is to confront a humbling, almost paralyzing truth. The universe is indifferent, vast, and eternally beyond full comprehension. Yet there is a strange symmetry here. The fragility of the universe mirrors the fragility of life, consciousness and civilization. Just as atoms and fields can shift, just as civilizations may falter under the great filter, our understanding is provisional. We survive in part because of luck, in part because of adaptability, and in part because reality allows us to perceive enough to persist. Awareness of the danger does not protect us, but it changes the way we see everything. The lesson from this final spiral is subtle. Fear is natural, but it is not the endpoint. Recognition of cosmic fragility, of statistical luck, of the delicate balance underlying existence, provides a lens through which to see both wonder and danger. The universe is a precarious masterpiece, and we are observers, participants, and temporary stewards of its fleeting order. Understanding that does not paralyze, it sharpens perception, deepens appreciation, and transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. At the edge of comprehension, we see the universe as it is, vast, fragile, and indifferent. And we see ourselves as we are, conscious, aware, and profoundly alive, even amidst uncertainty. Even after confronting the scale of the universe and the fragility of existence, the next spiral brings us back to the self, but at an even deeper level. If the cosmos can collapse, matter can transform, civilizations can vanish, and consciousness can be trapped. What does that say about identity itself? What does it mean to be you in a universe where every foundation is uncertain? Your sense of self is built on layers of stability, the continuity of memory, the reliability of your body, the consistency of cause and effect, and the laws that make thinking possible. Strip those away, and identity becomes slippery. In a world where quantum events can create alternate branches, where superdeterminism may already dictate your choices, and where consciousness could persist indefinitely in improbable timelines, what anchors you in reality? Philosophers call this the Boltzmann brain problem. In a universe that lasts forever, random fluctuations of particles could assemble a brain identical to yours, complete with memories, thoughts, and experiences, but isolated, floating in emptiness. You could be that brain right now, a temporary spark of awareness with no body, no history, no continuity. And if the universe continues, more Boltzmann brains could emerge, indistinguishable from you, questioning existence in the same way. The terror here is existential and intimate. Reality may not be stable, your body may not be unique, and even consciousness may be a temporary arrangement, a statistical fluctuation. Who you are, what you have lived, and what you believe could be nothing more than one configuration among infinite possibilities. The universe does not care which you experiences it, and you may have no way of knowing. If your memories or thoughts are genuine or simply the output of a random, fleeting assembly, this spiral forces a confrontation with identity itself. If everything, laws of physics, matter, life, civilization, even your perception is fragile, then selfhood is provisional too. It is a temporary construct riding atop an unstable foundation. The comfort of I exist becomes a delicate assumption, not a guarantee. And yet, in this realization, there is a strange paradox. The fragility of everything around you heightens the significance of the present moment. Even if the future is uncertain, even if survival is improbable, and even if identity is impermanent, the fact that you experience anything at all is remarkable. Consciousness, no matter how fragile or fleeting, is the rarest phenomenon in a vast, indifferent cosmos. The lesson of this spiral is subtle. To live fully is to embrace the temporary, the uncertain, and the fragile. The universe may be indifferent, the cosmos may be hostile, and reality itself may be unstable, but awareness, even for a fleeting moment, is enough to matter. If the self is fragile, then the final spiral leads us to the ultimate question: what is existence itself? All the previous layers, unstable space, transforming matter, vanished civilizations. The mind as interface, and eternal consciousness culminate in a single terrifying realization. Reality is not guaranteed. Existence is provisional. Everything you trust, laws, matter, time, even yourself, rests on a delicate balance that could unravel without warning. This is the point where philosophy and physics merge into raw existential dread. You begin to see that being alive, aware and perceiving is not a right, a given or even likely. It is a statistical miracle, a momentary alignment of conditions in an indifferent universe. Every second of existence is a defiance of entropy, chance, and cosmic instability. What we take for granted, our surroundings, our memories, our thoughts, are temporary manifestations atop an ever-shifting reality. Even the universe itself may be transient. Cosmologists speculate about multiverses, bubble universes, and dimensions beyond our perception. Our universe could be just one phase among infinite possibilities, each with its own laws, each with its own fragility. We experience one coherent slice, yet that coherence could be an illusion. Time may not flow as we think, space may not extend as we imagine, and the rules that govern life could vanish in an instant. In this ultimate spiral, the horror is not just survival or death, it is contingency itself. Everything exists because the conditions happen to allow it. Everything is temporary, everything is uncertain, and nothing is permanent. The ground you stand on, the air you breathe, the stars above, even your own mind, are all precarious arrangements, momentary alignments in a vast, indifferent chaos. And yet there is a strange, paradoxical liberation in recognizing this. Once you confront the fragility of existence, you see the beauty in mere being. Awareness itself, fleeting as it may be, becomes profound. Life is no longer guaranteed, it is extraordinary simply because it happens at all. The spiral ends here, at the edge of understanding. Existence is uncertain, fragile and temporary, but that very uncertainty is what makes the moment you experience real, meaningful and astonishing. To exist at all, even briefly, is a defiance of a universe that could just as easily erase everything. And in that defiance, consciousness finds its place, however fleeting, in the vast, trembling cosmos. And now we reach the final spiral, the edge of the edge, where everything you thought was certain dissolves into raw awareness. Here we confront the ultimate truth. The universe, life, matter, consciousness, everything is temporary, fragile and contingent. There is no fortress beneath your feet, no guarantee that the stars will shine tomorrow, no certainty that your mind is anchored in reality. Everything is a delicate alignment of chance and law, a precarious dance on the edge of existence. At this level, fear and awe merge. The physical universe may collapse, matter may transform, civilizations may vanish, and your perception may be an illusion. Consciousness may persist endlessly in improbable timelines, or flicker out as a random fluctuation. Reality itself may change, dissolve, or rewrite itself without reason or warning. The laws you trust, the constants you depend on, the memories and identity you cling to, all of it may be provisional, temporary and fragile. Yet paradoxically, this is also the moment of clarity. By confronting the full fragility of everything, you strip away illusions and see the universe as it truly is, vast, indifferent, unstable, and astonishing. Awareness itself, no matter how temporary, becomes a miracle. Every thought, every breath, every perception is an improbable alignment in an indifferent cosmos. You are witnessing existence at its most fragile, and that witnessing is itself remarkable. The final spiral does not provide comfort, and it does not offer certainty. But it offers perspective. To exist, even briefly, amidst chaos and uncertainty is a profound defiance. To be aware, even momentarily, in a universe that could erase itself at any instant, is extraordinary. You are alive in a world that has no obligation to support life. And that fact alone is enough to astonish, terrify, and humble. And so, the journey ends where it began, with awareness. The universe may be a trembling glass house, but you are here, observing it, experiencing it, surviving in the improbable. Every moment matters, every sensation is a gift, and every thought is a small rebellion against the fragility of everything around you. The cosmos may be indifferent, but your consciousness makes it meaningful, even if only for a fleeting, precious instant.